let's rise and say the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everyone. Thanks for coming out on a cold night. All right, Vic, would you get us started, please, with a roll call?
Councilman Bojek.
Here.
Councilwoman DeShane.
Here.
Councilman Hoyt.
Here.
Councilman Lewandowski.
Here.
Supervisor Miller.
Yes, here. All right, we have the review and approval of minutes from the town board budget public hearing on November 9th, the November 13th town board meeting, and the November 20th special meeting to adopt the budget. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of those meetings. May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councilman Beaudry. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, for reports and remittances from department heads and town committees, this evening the November supervisor reports are available for everyone. So I'm sure you haven't had enough time to look those over yet, but they're here, reflecting November's fiscal activity. All right, town clerk.
Town clerk fees brought in $328.15. Planning board brought in $450. Building permits was $850. Bottom returns for the youth program was $82.30. Trash and recycle brought in $2,514. Total revenue for the month was $4,735.30. After paying DEC for hunting licenses and agri markets for dog licenses, the check that went to the supervisor was $4,224.45.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to accept the town clerk's report. May I have a second?
Sorry, Piers, go ahead, Piers.
Okay.
Councilman Bojek.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeShane.
Yes.
Councilman Hoyt.
Yes.
Councilman Lewandowski.
Yes.
Supervisor Miller.
Yes. Okay. Anything else from? No?
I think that's it for town clerk.
Okay, all right, good. All right, Jared.
Well, last report, just been plowing, trucks are 100%, the machines are 100%. In between now, we've been trying to do a couple of potholes, but, you know, when it rains, it takes care of that again. Yeah, it's just been a crazy muddy winter, and we've been out doing a bunch of sanding, plowing today. Nothing crazy to report, luckily, just wintertime, so that's about it.
Everything go well with the storm? The storm?
Yeah, nothing really broke, so, you know, through another one. See what the next one brings.
Okay. All right, thank you,
Just
Jared.
the start.
Yeah, it's just the
Yeah,
beginning.
Well, the weatherman says from now until after Christmas, it's supposed to be above average temperature, so maybe we can avoid some snow.
And get through December.
That's it.
All right, cool.
One day closer to spring.
Thanks, Jared. I don't have an assessor's report. All right, there's nothing to report from the assessor. Buildings and code enforcement officer?
We have 59 permits out here today. It's a very busy year for new construction and everything for the town. Planning board, we have 2 site plan reviews coming up for the Rensselaer Plateau Alliance. Two of them actually on J Acre with the Hunt property and the Brady property. And we have a minor subdivision on Fox Hollow.
On where? Sorry.
Fox Hollow.
Oh, Marcella? Okay. Okay, thanks, Tom. Planning board chairman.
You put everything in.
Oh, you put
one
it together? Oh, that was the
code.
subdivision? Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Oh, site plan. I gotcha. Okay, perfect. All right, rescue squad. I see Captain Sullivan here.
We had 20 calls for the month. Everything seems to be working order for us for the most part. We did receive a notification from the Phillips Corporation, and 2 of our AEDs are, one of them has been discontinued and is no longer supported by Phillips altogether, and we've been told that it should be taken out of service. And the other AED is being recalled for a bad resistor chip. So we have to investigate the potential of replacing at least 1, if not 2 AEDs in the next year.
What's the cost on those?
Depends on manufacturer we go with, and it depends on a couple different features. We haven't started investigating them yet.
Okay. We have your report, do you wanna give it? Squad report?
Yeah, and some of them, yeah. That's
Okay.
what we've been hearing. Just 20 calls for the month. And, we had 15 with full crews, 2 were first responses. 1 was canceled as we were, en route to here, so.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, alright, thank you, Captain. Dog control officer.
I had one dog that I picked up in Grafton and returned it to its owner in Petersburg. As we all know, the famous cow incident, and we had a stray cat on the
Cow last I heard.
What happened?
The cow was in
cow.
Pownell last we heard.
Yeah, the last we heard, the last sighting was in
He
Pownell.
crossed state lines and there's no extradition.
And they won't bring it back, I gotcha.
Well, you can't bring that cow back, there is no catching that cow.
Actually, the cow's a green farm.
So you
Is
never
it?
found
Okay, good.
out who was it?
They actually have it?
North Petersburg, right there, why is that in?
The guy that closed his farm down? Oh, that's Hewitt, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's where the greens over there.
Is it actually still there?
For real, or it's gonna be
Well,
a
that's
fear?
not
No,
far
it's
from
really there.
Pownell.
Okay,
Yeah,
Are they
In
gonna
the
tell us
freezer.
that they now have free
yeah,
burgers?
that's, I'm sure that's the plan.
okay, alright,
Found out who-
so dog control, cat control, cow control.
Yes.
Well,
We'll see what you have next month.
Okay, the recreation committee.
Yeah, we had our final event yesterday for 2023. We'd like to thank the Baptist Church for their graciousness and literally opening their doors and allowing us to use both their basement and the sanctuary for the concert. It was very well received. There's a lot of videos posted of the music, and that's where we're at.
Great, it was fun. Yeah,
Thought so.
definitely. Well attended and, nice,
Rain
and the
or
Baptist
shine.
church, yeah.
How many, was there a lot of people with the weather?
Like 30, 35.
36.
36, you count.
And that's not counting the choir and the.
And the choir was wonderful, the Berlin Chamber Choir, and they're just one of many choir
And their
divisions.
concert is Wednesday at the high school.
Yeah.
At 6:30,
At 6:30,
and
right?
it's free.
That's what I was gonna say, Wednesday, if anyone can make it Wednesday to the high school to see these kids sing and perform, they were really something else. So Wednesday, 6:30 at the high school, and again, so many thanks to the Baptist Church for
That
opening
was-
up the doors to let us in and
Was
be
that the
warm.
same as what the seniors had down here, the Berlin choir, or?
Same, so it's
Chamber?
one of the groups,
It
there was a
was?
bunch of different
Yeah,
groups.
cause I heard they were good too, as well.
They're great, they really are all good, so that was fun, good,
Are they
thank
all
you,
like
thanks for
grade-
the hard work.
Seniors, is that what they are? Seniors, they're all different.
They're all
Ages.
different grades,
Yep.
and these
These
kids were all high school,
younger,
but they
I
were,
thought.
Were they?
yeah, I think they were all high school, but anyway,
Nice.
yeah, they were, it was good.
Thank you.
Okay, the library sent in a report by email, did anyone print it?
Yeah, you
It's
should have a
attached,
copy of
you're
it.
the best, okay. And I don't.
Right here.
Oh, I do have this,
Not
sorry,
yours.
okay. Below is a report from the Grafton Community Library, thanks Leanna. Statistics for November, 465 hardcover books were checked out, 314 ebooks were checked out. They had 268 adult patron visits and 35 children and 5 teens patron visits. They had kids on the bus, story time, Zumba, wreath making, and soap making programs. A new 10-week session of Zumba will start on Monday, January 8th at 6 p.m. at Roxborough Holdings. Contact the library to register. Respectfully submitted, Leanna Sweet, Director. So, there's that. That's good. Yes. Yep. Okay, the Merrymakers, I don't see Merrymakers. How was the party? Did anyone here go to the luncheon? No? Where are the Merrymakers?
I don't know. Maybe making some here, I don't know.
Okay, and then, senior citizen representative is, kind of a superfluous agenda item, we should
Yeah.
strike that moving
Strike
forward.
that.
Okay, all right, under communications received, we have a proposed contract that's been reviewed by the town attorney with Columbia Green, for our animal control dog issues. It's the only game in town, basically, do you wanna address?
Well, right now, in Rensselaer County, we're in a tough bind. A lot of municipalities are hitting this issue with where to take dangerous dogs. Thank goodness it doesn't come up that often. But the agreement we have with Capital Agway is just for regular dogs, not the dangerous dogs. So as a group, we're checking all different places. But there's one municipality that doesn't have to worry about it. Oh, it's Grafton. Because it's about the only one in the whole county that has a deal with our friends in Columbia County.
Pre-deal, good,
Yeah.
good. So we're kind of grandfathered in with them and they will accept us if we
For
sign
this year.
For this, for twenty
And
Yeah.
every year,
Yeah.
you gotta try again.
So that'll be coming up as resolution 70 down the road here tonight. Okay, under new business, we've got a mold issue that's been detected in the judges' chambers behind us. There is a or a detection and remediation specialist gonna come tomorrow morning about 9 o'clock, between 9 and 9:15, to take a look at it, see where he thinks it might be coming from, and make any recommendations. So hopefully that will get underway. Councilman Lewandowski seems to feel it's not mold, it's mildew. So, we'll be open to whatever the professional tells us.
It appears to myself when looked, it's just this little spot, and when you touch it, it's wet, there's something leaking, going down into it, it's something new. So, it's that big, so whether it's mold or not, I'm sure whenever they fix it, they're gonna cut out everything and put new stuff in anyway, cause it's all wet.
So that's underway to get addressed tomorrow morning. We need to discuss as the board, appointments for the beginning of the year. There are different positions that we reappoint every January at our organizational meeting. Some of them include the clerk to the assessor, the clerk to the justices, the planning board secretary. There's quite a few. The youth director will be considering, so we need to let Vicky know tonight who we're going to advertise with, or for, what positions. We can use our previous January organizational meeting templates to determine what we've done in the past. When do you need to get it in the paper?
I would have to send something out tonight to get it in the paper this week, so I just think that you all need to think about it, and maybe it's something, I don't know when you guys wanna have the organizational meeting. We customarily had it the first week. I think according to law, we go to January 20th, I think. So if we wanna hold the organizational meeting, maybe it's the same town board meeting. I don't know if we can, when we had our year-end meeting, to pay the final bills, if you guys can give me a list then, and then we can advertise them, and then do the meeting a couple weeks into January, or however you wanna do it, that's up to you guys.
Phil, there's no prerequisite to have the town board meeting or the organizational meeting ahead of the first town board meeting?
In fact, you know what a lot of places do? As long as they have their meeting before the 20th of January, they do it the same night. So they do their organizational meeting first, and then they do the regular meeting.
Right.
Now, the only thing about the organizational meeting is if you were making any special types of appointments, that you needed to do it early in the year, that would be different. But very often, you hold over, like, unless you're really doing something different, under New York state law, you can have people hold over if you're keeping the same people doing stuff. So. But
Do you
that's,
wanna exercise that? Yeah?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
I joined the organization too,
Say it again.
right? With Jared, talking with Jared.
Oh, right, yes, yeah,
Yeah, we're going there too,
there
right?
you go, yes, you're right, yeah, as a position.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep,
and the only thing I would ask is any newly elected officials, get yourself sworn in, sign the book anytime after January 1st starts. Because then in case there's an emergency meeting you gotta call or whatever, if you're sworn in, you can act. If you're not sworn in and sign the book, you can't act.
what's the earliest a newly elected member can sign in?
actually end of December.
And so like New Year's Eve?
Yeah,
You can
oh
sign
yeah.
on New Year's Eve?
Yeah.
Can the town clerk be the swearing in person, or does it need to
Absolutely.
be a justice?
She can administer the oath,
Okay,
and she's got the book.
right,
So
okay.
do you use the little card, did you read it to them, or you just know it by
It's in the
heart?
book and I
It's
just read
right
it
there
out.
already. So as long as before that person acts, they've signed the book and taken the oath, they're good to go.
Okay.
So then that date, we'll just come in like, what, an hour earlier or something for the next meeting?
We'll actually have the organizational meeting after the first board meeting.
They always do it the other way around, but it's up to you guys.
This year we did it like the hour before we did the organization and then we went
Then
right
we-
into
Meeting.
regular.
Right.
If there's anything we gotta adjust at the regular meeting.
Cause the other thing is those things I gotta be able to advertise, because we never set a date for the end of year meeting. So that has to go in paper soon, and then the organizational meeting, whenever that's gonna be held, we need to.
We're gonna get some dates going on here.
Who's your regular meeting, second Monday of the month?
Right.
So that would be the second Monday in January.
Right, well, I don't have a calendar.
I don't want. So, if I'm reading this right, the 8th is the second Monday in January. You could do your organizational meeting that night
At 6 o'clock?
at 6.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it depends on how long you think it is gonna be. It's a lot of people do it in a half an hour. So it's whatever's good for you guys.
They're usually fairly quick.
Yeah.
But we have to come in and sign, do bills and all that too, so.
Right? If we do it before the January 8th board meeting, that means we don't have to call another meeting before the 20th, which is 2 weeks away on a Saturday from that. So to avoid coming in twice for 2 meetings, we could do it beforehand, but whatever the board wants to do, I'm fine with
the 8th,
doing both meetings on the 8th.
I'm all right with
That works,
Okay.
that works,
Okay.
that does for everybody.
Okay.
Pretty simple.
Now, how about so that'll be January 8th, 6 PM for the organizational meeting.
Cause they have to vote.
Yeah, make a motion. 'Cause you can do
Oh, yeah,
both.
they could do a motion.
They gotta do a motion.
Can we do both?
Both in one motion's fine.
Okay, perfect. January 8th at 7 PM is the regular board meeting, okay. And then the the December year-end meeting. When do you want to do that? 23rd, 26th? Is that too soon after? Do you have any preference, Vicky, for
I have
you?
no preference.
We could do Wednesday the 27th, possibly?
What was the first day you said?
First I said the 26th.
The day after Christmas too.
I don't wanna do a day after Christmas.
Okay.
No, me either.
You have people coming from out of town.
Sure, yeah, no, I get it.
I don't want to do
What about Thursday the 28th? And this meeting's typically quick, it's just to
Yeah.
clean up year-end stuff, pay a few last minute bills. So we could do it maybe 6 o'clock on Thursday, the 28th?
The Wednesday or Thursday is fine with me, you work Wednesday.
As
That's
long
only
as
for 4.
6 p.m.
Yeah,
What day?
12/28, 6 PM, here's the thing. That's Thursday?
Yeah, that or whatever. 28th.
28.
At what time?
6 PM. Okay. Okay, we'll put that in under motions when we get there. Okay. Alright, so positions, we've got that covered for appointments. Alright, under old business, we have fleet, does anyone else have new business? Okay, under fleet management, tandem pricing purchase for the highway department.
Yeah, I'm still working on it. Pretty much know what we wanna buy as far as specs, but working with Pittstown, they're gonna buy a truck too. So we're just checking with other manufacturers, see if we can get them, because they're 2 years out. And, for that kind of money, I'm not in any hurry to rush through something, so I'm just making sure we get the biggest bang for the buck. So, no, I don't have any real updates other than we're still working on it to make sure that for that kind of money, we get, the best bang for the dollar. So hopefully I got something January's meeting.
Okay. Alright, any other old business? Alright, we're on to public comment, which is privilege of the floor. Public comment is limited to 5 minutes per person. Councilman Beaudry is our timekeeper. Be mindful, the public comment portion of the meeting is a privilege. All comments and statements shall be directed to the town board. Please refrain from any personal attacks, name calling, or derogatory public comments toward individuals. Okay, who'd like to start?
Yes, ma'am.
Donna Bobner.
Back in September, you had mentioned doing a townwide inventory of all the equipment and or things that are owned. What is the update on that inventory list? Has that been started? Cause I think, Mr. Danaher mentioned it should be done by the end of the year.
I'd say started it but not finished. Not completed.
All the equipment and the building.
And the building, everything, all the properties and everything, yeah. I mean, right?
Yeah, that's,
Yeah. In process.
Okay. What's the update on the professional cleaning? of the town
Everything's been
hall?
cleaned, but the painting is pending, and we're approved for painting of the hall, the whole town hall, the hallway, the lobby, and my office.
That was all covered under insurance,
Yes.
and, just something that popped up. Coverage for Vicky as the dog control officer. If she's taking a vacation, do we have shared services in place? Does another DCO cover for her? And if so, it might be advantageous to post that to our town website in the event Vicky's out of town or not accessible. Just a thought, looking at the website. Do we have that shared service in place?
We don't really have shared services because we don't have a whole lot of DCO officers. What I usually do is let 911 dispatch know that I am out of town and unavailable. You direct your call to them. They will either contact Pitchtown Dog Control if he's available, or they will handle the call themselves.
That works.
Alright,
Thank you.
anyone else from the floor tonight?
I'll be last.
Oh, you'll be last, okay. Anyone wanna be before last? Looks like it's your it. Yes.
Okay. So, I've got a few things. Merrymaker is supposed to be on the second Wednesday of every month. Kathy said to apply for membership on the Facebook page, however, that only works if you are not personally blocked by the administrator. So I have applied and have not heard anything yet. So I wanted to talk to her about that, and she didn't come tonight. The letter from the DA saying that their office will not pursue the charges submitted by the board should be posted on the town website, if not in the minutes at least. Said I was informed by the clerk it was not necessary to post the letter. What good are the minutes if they don't have details concerning the board meeting? You look and it just says, you know, to do with whatever resolution that was, and it doesn't tell you what the letter was. So, okay, next, why did you bother to have a public comment session before the budget vote if you're not going to discuss our request before processing the budget? Was it only window dressing to make it look as though that what we spoke about was important? You certainly didn't act on it. It was exceedingly and abundantly clear that the town people wanted to have the supervisor's secretary back. It is a disservice to the town, it's a disservice to the supervisor and to the highway superintendent to not have that service. Supervisor Gundrum received 38% more support of the town than the runner-up in the supervisor's race. But you all let him take the lead. You all went along with what he had to say. None of you wanted to bring it up, the budget. Let's, here, I'll submit it for a vote. All of you looked down and refused to make eye contact with anyone. It was very plain. It was very plain that you didn't wanna do it, but you let him take the lead anyway. Not one of you had the guts to stand up against the others to say that it wasn't right for the town. Next, the recycling center is no longer charging for the recycling of e-waste. The company who collects e-waste stopped charging January 1st, 2023. What happened to all the money that was collected from the residents for 11 months for those recycling things? And then lastly, I would like to volunteer for the entertainment committee for next year. I believe the more volunteers who are willing to pitch in, the more activities we can do without burning anyone out. That's all I have, thank you.
Thank you.
I just thought of something.
Nancy Laurent.
I just wanna know, Frank and Jody weren't here for the public session. Did you guys watch the video or anything like that? That was,
And we all spoke about it one-on-one with each other.
okay, cause it didn't seem like you guys had watched it, by just the way that it just came out that you said, nope, we're not gonna do that, and they all agreed. It seems like it was settled before you even got here.
Yeah.
Hopefully that will stop happening.
The board's here to represent the people. I believe they did a good job and represented the requests of the people.
Didn't listen to
I
us.
think 10 people that show up that voice their opinion is not the representation of 2,100 people.
Neither do you go out and see 2,100 people, either do you?
Can I,
Are you finished with yours?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
this is the question though, right, in a democracy. How the hell do we get the 2,100, okay, hold on, 2,085 other people, 15 people, how do we get their input? Like if there's no other place to be than here, how the hell do you know what everybody else is thinking? Like, it cannot be just an election. I got your time. I'm just acting like how do you get the feeling of all the people in this town? Like there's no other way except this. You're right, it's only 15 people. So the question is, how do you do that? And could maybe two people answer that question so that we can understand what the hell this democracy is about? You know what I mean?
When
Like
they
a little town like
vote,
this?
they vote for us to represent them, but a lot of us talk to different people throughout the community throughout the month.
Yeah.
Nobody has to come here to get their voice heard. They can make a phone call, they can stop by. There's a lot of people we all talk to on a daily basis.
Okay.
That we get feedback on, and we can get a pretty good pulse of what's going on in the community.
And how many do you see a month?
But I don't go into detail on who I speak to.
I didn't
No,
ask
how
you
many?
who, I said how many.
Yep, I'm not gonna answer that. Thank
So
you.
in other words, you have no idea and it doesn't happen all the time.
No,
Thank
I'm
you.
saying that I speak to people constantly,
So what does it matter?
but I don't need to.
Can I just finish my?
Yeah.
This is just 5 minutes.
Yeah, let me just. So could somebody else speak to that, like how do you, as whoever that is gonna talk, how do you understand what somebody a mile from here and a mile from here that way and a mile from here?
I mean, this is a town that, you're talking to us right now. I've talked to other people in this room
Yes.
at other times concerning a needs or some type of an assessment for
Sure.
what the town is going through. These are issues that are ongoing as you're living in this community and you're interacting with the people in the community. I have a lot of people talk to me about environmental issues in this town, natural resources, all the time. And I will say that I am at the environmental center on a regular basis talking to community members about some of these issues. They're all issues that everyone on this board is discussing amongst ourselves. I mean, some of these things that we talked about before the budget are gonna be addressed again. You can count on it. This stuff is gonna come up as we go through the year.
Right.
I can sense it already, because people want, some kind of response to what people are talking about in terms of the secretary position, other things within the budget that we need to deal with. The inventory is a big deal, the equipment, the buildings, that's what we've been taking care of. Certainly the highway department, these are all these issues that come up in the day-to-day travels of all of us, whether it's at the store, at the park,
Yeah.
you know, at the lakes. I mean, that's just something that I do, because I feel I'm an active player in the town. So it's not being ignored from my perspective.
No, I'm asking philosophically, how do you get everybody's opinions in this town?
And again, during the campaign,
Get everybody.
you're talking to a lot of people, and they will tell you exactly, like you guys have done with us.
Yeah.
The people in this room, they have been telling us what their thoughts are.
That's especially good, that's a great way to reach out and understand the communities, is through,
And, you know,
through
and
the,
maybe it's once a year you do that, but it's really an ongoing issue. I mean, I'm always talking about highway issues with Jared, and other board members or people in the community that will tell us what needs to be done. You know, like this mold issue. I mean, when I was a town justice, we had a mold issue here, and that's 20 years ago. So, the first time I was a judge. But again, that's another issue, taking care of the buildings, the inventory. I'm gonna move on that concern about the equipment and the buildings.
thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so at the budget workshop, it was brought up, everyone's wish list was included on the budget that was presented that night and worked on by the town board. Okay, on that wish list, you didn't have the town secretary position or, listed on that night. It came in the next, when we came for the preliminary hearing on the budget, that's when it was brought up that we wanted a secretary. Why wasn't it put on the wish list to begin with on the first budget? And in my opinion, if Jared needs help with paperwork for the highway department, Jared should hire a person to do that. He hires everyone else that works at the highway department. It doesn't have to be a combined position. If Jared needs help, then Jared needs to he should have put that on his wish list in his budget and did it that way. But you come in, do a budget workshop, and then everybody leaves here, and then we come back for a public hearing, and it's a totally different situation. So I understand everyone had their opinion that night to speak, but that's my opinion. Why wasn't these brought up at the beginning, at the budget workshop hearing? We waited till after the election, and then we decided, oh, I guess we do need the confidential secretary position reinstated, or whatever. But that's my opinion on that. I just think if that was a wish, then it should have been on the beginning budget, not at the hearing. That's my opinion.
And I appreciate your opinion, I thank you for that. I understand you've sent correspondence to the board via email or via text
I
with
sent
your
every one of you guys
ideas.
a text message.
I didn't get anything from you about it, or have not seen it, and I thought that was kind of strange that I
You
wouldn't
were
have been.
included, and you can look at my phone, and you can see that your name was included. Maybe I don't have a current number for you. But I did send it to all 5 of you, because that was my feeling on that.
And what was that you sent?
A text message to all of you,
About,
the same, just what I just said.
okay.
Why wasn't it put on, I mean, that was how the budget, you said that it was put on there, everybody's wish list.
Yeah, it was
For every
sent to the
department.
8378 number.
Okay, it wasn't to the official town cell phone number that's on record, but
Well, it's the
okay.
only one that I had for
You
you.
have his official town cell phone number.
We all have official town cell phone numbers, there are personal numbers, I think we made a motion that we would all use our personal phones. And when we got rid of other phones, maybe 3 years ago, so technically our personal cell phones are the phones of record.
Yeah.
That's been my supervisor's cell phone number for 6 years. Okay, or been available to the public for 6 years, been the official one for 3 years, so that's published everywhere. But thank you for your opinion.
I mean, I understand everybody came here and had their opinion on that, but I didn't understand why it wasn't brought up in the first, at the preliminaries. at the budget workshop. Right, it was brought up at the public hearing with a whole new different budget, I didn't understand. But that's my opinion on it. Just a different take of it, of what, you know, everybody had said. Okay, anyone else? John Munn.
I'm sorry, Ann, for not being last. My take is the budget process is somewhat broken. The way it comes down is that the supervisor is presenting a draft budget. It's not even a draft, it's basically the budget as it was presented the previous year, but with input from the heads of the departments. And then you go through the line by line item and you approve things or disallow things, make your comments on a line by line basis, but not looking at things comprehensively. And I'll give you an example with merrymakers and the people from the county senior center. Yeah, and, you know, why aren't they looked comprehensively as to what we're going to spend for seniors? Why are they broken down and each individually looked at? And you don't have to respond. I'm just illustrating ways that I think the budget process is broken. So you go through the first draft, and then you decide to hold a public hearing next on the draft proposal. And at the public hearing, you solicit input from the public, but then you go to a, where you adopt a budget, but you don't take the input from the people, or there's no meeting ahead of time to discuss the input from the people or any input at all. In fact, I don't hear any input and discussion about the items that you are addressing to begin with on a whole. You banter back and forth on line items. I'll give you an example. Pierce, after the budget was approved 2 weeks ago, Pierce mentioned that the town's going to have to go through a town-wide reassessment. And he said the cost was going to be so great that it's going to have to be paid for over at least 2 years. If that is an issue, and if that's going to be an expense coming up for next year, why wasn't it put in the budget? Why was there no line item for that? To me, a budget needs to take in all your anticipated expenses and all your revenues, and if your revenues fall short, then you go to take the excess costs out of your surplus funds.
Can I just?
But no, you can't. I'm still talking, please. Your budget doesn't do that. Your process is basically looking at income and expenses and netting them. Then the other problem is, like, you're now talking about the possibility of hiring an administrative assistant and coming up with discussions for that, but yet it's not in the budget. So you're going to revise the budget ad hoc in this coming year, possibly. I'm not saying you're going to do it, but that's what you're suggesting. And I just think this whole process is broken. I guess that's it.
A budget is a work in progress. It's a work in progress at all times. It can be amended, it can be discussed, it can be worked on. We can take information from people like yourself who have concerns about the way we're managing money. It is a work in progress.
And Pierce saying to you outside of the meeting that about a possible reevaluation is his personal opinion, not the board's.
Yeah, it's not
because without the board taking an official action in any way, it's just him giving you his opinion. It's not. We haven't had any discussions on doing a reeval next year.
Yes, they
And
did.
so,
We had a meeting with the assessor and he recommended it, and I think
that's where it came from.
that's
Yeah,
where
and
it
the
started to
attorney-
come from.
So that did
and
come to a meeting.
but the board has not
We
taken
haven't
any
acted on it.
action
It
or
was
acted on it.
recommendation of the sitting assessor at that time, but this previous, he was the previous assessor hired to do the reval. Technically, professionally capable to do that reval as the assessor. The second assessor came in after Mr. Galarno was appointed to a 6-year term. he did a reval, he got us up to 100%, capable of doing a reval. Mr. Surprise came back in, the numbers started dropping. Still, he's capable of doing the reval and has been hired as the town assessor to get that reval done. So to have that same person stand here and say, and the numbers were much larger, they were, if I'm not mistaken, they were 280,000, it was nuts how much it was gonna be to do it.
It's time.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, but the reval thing, and Councilman Lewandowski's not wrong, it wasn't ever decided on by the board that we need to do that. In fact, we have some very despairing opinions of, we're not all in agreement on how that should move forward. So hence it wasn't budgeted for.
And then with the budget itself, we do go into great detail, line by line, and do a lot of research before the meetings. So we're educated and doing what's right for the town. And just because a board member says, you know, I'm interested in looking at the secretary issue in the following year, doesn't mean that's the consensus with the whole town board, because I don't believe a board would vote yes or no to something unless they do believe it. I don't think that they would just come and shake their head because I passed a motion. That's not how we were ever set up to be. Everyone has their own opinions and they vote that way and they vote accordingly.
Anyone else from the floor tonight? Yes, Mr. Douglas, Chuck Douglas.
So I just wanted to say something about the recreation committee real quickly. I think that, you know, there's plenty of people obviously on the recreation committee that do a great job at all these events, and I really feel that the board should really be thankful that they have those people to do those events, and I don't feel that's the case necessarily. I think they go through a lot of hardship to try to find funds and a lot of different things. There's a lot of arguing in that situation, and you know, it really astounds me to hear a particular board member, when someone actually, you know, volunteered openly for the recreation committee, to say, no, we don't need you. That may be part of the problem, and so I think you might want to consider that within your board, because that was definitely something I heard tonight, and I just can't believe it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just to piggyback on, thank you. 4 events now, I think we've seen 1.5 council members at our events.
The previous recreation
That's kind of
committee, yeah,
disheartening.
they had the same
You know,
issue
even if you
before
can't
that
stay, you should come and support your town. Cause we do work hard, we work hard for the town residents here, and it would be nice to have your presence at some events. If you can't make them all, that's understood, but at least make an effort to try to attend 1 or 2.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Linda Russell.
And keeping the same, I'm sorry, we talked about it before, the assessor,
Board of Assessment Review?
yeah,
That we have, Pat Ivory's term is up, but
Yeah,
he
he
is,
wants to stay.
he would like to stay,
That's
he's
fine,
expressed
I'm
interest
just
in it.
curious, that's
Yeah.
all.
But that'll be part of the appointments that we talked about, that we'll be doing at the organizational meeting.
Okay.
Soliciting interest for different positions. Okay? Okay? Anyone else? Okay. The communication received this evening, did we skip over that?
Yeah, the only thing you brought up was the contract from Columbia Green. We had a letter from Tom.
Is that for tonight?
Well, whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the 1.5. So, for tonight, under communication received?
Wait until do it all together, or are you gonna do that?
That's just his resignation letter,
Yeah,
that's all,
do
you
it.
guys need to know
You
that
can
he's not resigning.
Right. All right, anything else from the floor before we close? No, okay. All right, I'd like to, make a motion to pass resolution 70 of 2023, the Columbia Green Humane Society contract. Whereas the town of Grafton is in need of mandated animal control services for the town of Grafton for the year 2024. And whereas the town council has been advised that the Columbia Green Humane Society is willing to provide such services per the attached contract, and good cause appearing therefore.
Now therefore be it resolved that the town of Grafton hereby approves the attached contract with Columbia Green Humane Society for Animal Control Services on behalf of the town of Grafton for 2024 for the amounts set forth in the attached contract. I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution 70. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Lewandowski.
Councilman Bowdre,
Yes.
Councilwoman DeShane,
Yes.
Councilman Hoyt,
Yes.
Councilman Lewandowski,
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes. Yes. Alright, and then I would also like to make a motion this evening that the year-end meeting of the Grafton Town Board is scheduled for December 28th at 6 p.m. And further that the 2024 organizational meeting of the Grafton Town Board will be held on January 8th, 2024 at 6 p.m. followed by the January 8th, 2024 regular town board meeting at 7 p.m.
That last part you don't have to put in, cause, whoa,
Put in.
like the mood lighting,
Oh.
there we go. Because, you guys already scheduled all the meetings.
So we don't have to piggyback
No,
the
we
January.
haven't
Oh, you
set any
haven't scheduled?
meetings for next year, cause that usually gets adopted in the
Organizational meeting.
organizational.
Then keep that in, good job, good job.
Okay. Okay. Alright, may I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Lewandowski.
Councilman Bowdre,
Yes.
Councilwoman DeShane,
Yes.
Councilman Hoyt,
Yes.
Councilman Lewandowski,
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to pay vouchers 469 through 502, excluding 486, in the sum total of $43,767.57. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Jody DeShane.
Councilman Bowdre,
Yes.
Councilwoman DeShane,
Yes.
Councilman Hoyt,
Yes.
Councilman Lewandowski, Supervisor Dunn.
Yes. Okay, the agenda says executive session, but that is not happening this evening. Does anyone have anything for legislative privilege?
I do. I wanted to thank Frank for his last 4 years of working for town of Grafton. Thank you. Wish you and I thank you for all your help and support. And I wish you well with your next career.
Very nice.
Very nice. Alright, anyone else for legislative privilege?
And at that year-end meeting, are we gonna have a list of the appointments we wanna do?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Alright, tonight we're adjourning in loving memory of Marcia Trask and Beulah Vars, who passed away over the weekend. Both wonderful ladies to Grafton. Marcia Trask was the first grade teacher for many of your children, maybe some of you, I'm not sure. But she meant a lot to the community, she meant a lot to the senior center in the development, the early stages of developing the senior center. The family reached out to the senior center to ask if her after gathering, after her services in Petersburg, could be held at the senior center here in Grafton. So that's going to be happening when Marcia's services end in Petersburg. And I'm sure the family would love to see whoever might like to come and remember Marcia in a special way. The family also has an online guest book that they would like members of the Grafton community to share their thoughts about Marcia and how much she meant to all of us. So that is this Saturday, the 16th, at the senior center, starting probably about 1 o'clock.
Can you do a quick motion for that, so that way it's on record before?
Should we? We did it, yeah.
I would do it, unless have you done a delegation resolution before where it's delegated to you to?
No.
I called everybody,
You
called
did
everybody personally.
consensus.
Yeah.
I would just do it right now then, to get it out of the way.
So that way you're all set, you don't have to worry.
And all the foregoing is based upon, I would like to make a motion formally that the town board approves the use by the Trask family of the Everett Wager Senior Center for Mrs. Trask's memorial service following her funeral on Saturday. May I have a second? Second by Councilman Hoyt.
Councilman Bowdre,
Yes.
Councilwoman DeShane,
Yes.
Councilman Hoyt,
Yes.
Councilman Lewandowski,
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes. Alright, so motion to adjourn, second?
Second.
Alright, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you everyone for coming.